And he's always had it.
When Linda Hogan publicly declared years ago that she'd moved on after her divorce from Hulk Hogan, nobody thought much of it. But now a resurfaced poolside clip has blindsided the wrestling community. The video, crystal clear and professionally shot, shows Linda and WWE legend The Undertaker casually chatting beside her infinity pool, sipping drinks, and laughing about martinis and recording studios. Fans were quick to point out that the setting matches Linda's home from her old video tours. Same pool, same outdoor bar, same recording booth. The fact that this was clearly filmed from inside the home, with professional lighting, suggests it wasn't paparazzi. It was someone with access. And the leak comes just weeks after Hulk Hogan's death, making the timing impossible to ignore. Why Undertaker and Hogan were never friends. The buzz around this clip isn't just about Linda's dating history. It's because of the long, complicated, and sometimes bitter history between Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker. To understand that tension, we have to rewind to Survivor Series 1991. Undertaker was just a year into the WWF and already booked to do the unthinkable, defeat Hogan for the championship. Backstage before the match, Hogan told him he was worried about taking the Tombstone piledriver because of neck problems. Undertaker reassured him he'd protect him. In the ring, Taker delivered the move gently. By his own admission, his own kids had taken rougher bumps from him. But when the cameras stopped rolling, Hogan collapsed backstage, claiming his neck was injured. EMTs were called, and Undertaker went into full panic mode, thinking he'd just crippled the biggest star in wrestling. Days later, footage proved Hogan's head never even touched the mat. He had faked the injury, a move that Undertaker later described as a turning point in how he viewed Hogan as a person. In wrestling, that kind of stunt isn't just petty, it's career sabotage. Decades later, a poolside reunion. Fast forward nearly 30 years, and the now viral video shows Linda Hogan relaxing with the very man her ex-husband had once viewed as a professional enemy. The full, uncut version of the interview is even more eyebrow-raising. Linda talks about how, after her divorce, she felt alive again with a younger man who was attentive, helpful, and could fix anything. She then admits she didn't realize at first that he was only 19, a fact that scandalized both her family and the public. Viewers began to wonder, could The Undertaker have been that man, or at least one of them? While no one is making definitive claims, the details match eerily well. The location, the time period, and the subtle chemistry in the footage. The way they laugh together by the pool doesn't scream random acquaintance. It suggests familiarity. And when you combine that with the deep, lingering resentment Undertaker felt toward Hogan over the 1991 incident, the idea of personal revenge suddenly doesn't feel far-fetched. A leaked video with a purpose? What makes the leak even more intriguing is that it appears to have been filmed with intent. No shaky zoom lens, no stolen angles. Someone in the home shot it, and someone close to either Linda or The Undertaker made sure it went public now. If Linda leaked it, it could be a late-game act of revenge or a way to reclaim her narrative. If someone in Undertaker's camp leaked it, it might be about settling an old score while Hogan's legacy is still fresh in the public's mind. Either way, the timing is brutal, just after Hogan's sudden death, following years of medical struggles and risky surgeries. Hogan's decline and final days Hulk. Hogan's health troubles in his last years were no secret. He underwent a massive 4-level cervical spinal fusion surgery, the kind of operation that demands weeks of strict bed rest. But within days, Hogan was traveling for beer signings and promotional events. Doctors warned him to slow down. He refused. Friends say he couldn't stand the thought of being forgotten. The toll was obvious. In his final public appearances, Hogan's voice was weaker, his posture stiff, his trademark swagger replaced with visible strain. Some believe that beneath the public hustle was private paranoia, the fear that something was happening behind his back, that he was being undermined not in the ring but in life. If he suspected Linda and Undertaker had grown close, it would have been more than jealousy. It would have been the ultimate personal betrayal from someone he already viewed as a professional traitor. the Booth comment that changed everything. The second half of the leaked clip raised even more eyebrows. Off camera, Linda's voice can be heard saying, "Do you want to record again in the booth later? We can lock the door this time." Undertaker's deep, amused reply, "Only if you promise not to throw another shoe at me." They both laugh. The booth in question is believed to be the same home recording booth Linda once showcased for her kids, Brooke and Nick. In this context, it takes on a far more private implication. This wasn't an official WWE taping. This was personal. Why WWE is staying silent. One of the strangest elements of this whole saga is WWE's complete silence. The company is notorious for aggressively protecting its intellectual property, taking down fan videos, flagging unauthorized footage, and distancing itself from controversy. Yet this clip remains online across multiple platforms without so much as a copyright claim. That's led some fans to speculate WWE actually wants the clip to circulate. Why? Because it subtly reshapes the narrative. It softens Undertaker's image, humanizes Linda, and allows the company to quietly distance itself from some of Hogan's more controversial moments without issuing an official break. In short, it's passive PR damage control. The three camps of fan reaction. Since the footage went viral, fans have split into three main camps. First are the Revengers, who see this as long overdue payback, Undertaker's quiet, decades-in-the-making answer to Hogan's 1991 betrayal. To them, it's poetic justice. Then there are the Romantics, a smaller but growing group who believe Linda and Undertaker may have shared something real and personal, unrelated to revenge. Finally, there are the Legacy Defenders, Hogan loyalists who view the leak as disrespectful, especially so soon after his death. The truth may be that all three perspectives hold some truth. The clip could be revenge, affection, and disrespect all at once, depending on where you stand. The silent daughter one person whose reaction has been conspicuously absent is Brooke Hogan. Known for defending her father in the past, even during his most damaging controversies, Brooke has stayed completely quiet on the subject. No statement, no social media post, no interview. For someone who's never been shy about speaking up, that silence speaks volumes. Some insiders believe it's not avoidance, but pain, a reopening of old wounds tied to the divorce, family fractures, and long-standing resentments. The timeline that makes sense. Piecing together the timeline, the clip likely dates back to around 2014. That year, Linda had just moved into her newly renovated mansion in Simi Valley, which matches the location in the footage. Undertaker was largely off the wrestling grid after his shocking loss to Brock Lesnar, reportedly spending time on the West Coast. Hogan, meanwhile, was living in Florida, recovering from surgeries and still dealing with the fallout of his divorce. In that overlap of availability, privacy, and emotional vulnerability, the footage could have easily been filmed, then shelved for a decade before resurfacing. Revenge or closure? So, was this about revenge or closure? If it's revenge, it's one of the slowest, coldest plays in wrestling history. Decades of silence, ending with a leak that reframes the relationship between three people forever. If it's closure, it's the public glimpse of a private moment between two people who shared a unique connection. Either way, the effect is the same. Hulk Hogan's carefully cultivated legacy now has a new wrinkle, one he's not here to address. The final word. In wrestling, the most brutal betrayals don't always happen in the ring. Sometimes they happen in kitchens, by pools, or in recording booths. The Undertaker and Linda Hogan's poolside video may only last seconds, but it tells a story decades in the making, one of old grudges, shifting loyalties, and the fragile nature of legacy. Whether it was meant as a final blow, a fond memory, or simply a leaked relic of the past, its impact is undeniable. For Hogan, it may represent the ultimate loss of control, the one thing he always fought to keep. For Linda, it could be a reclamation of her voice, and for Undertaker, it's either the quietest revenge ever pulled off, or a moment he never thought the world would see.